Okay, you're back with part 2 on the Auahuasca video. So, without any further ado, let's have a look at the properties of the Auahuasca plant. Okay, the main properties of Auahuasca are two specific alkaloids or chemicals. The first is the active ingredient, which is DMT, dimethyltryptamine, basically. And this chemical also exists within our brain, and scientists studying at the moment. The main ingredient in the Kaepi vine is the monoamine oxidase inhibitors, and basically the essential part of what these do is to, through consumption, is to stop the enzymes in the stomach that break down most chemicals through the liver and all that sort of thing. So when taking the DMT with the MAOIs, the MAOI allows stops all activity in the stomach and allows the absorption of the DMT. Now, other plants contain MAOIs and DMT as well, so any mixture of these two should be considered an Auahuasca, even though not using the specific vine. I've argued before that the spiritual plants are connecting with the entities or the spirits that are behind the plant, with San Pedro and peyote or mescalito. It is mescaline is the active ingredient. Mescalito is the spirit behind the plant, connected to the plant. It's not the actual plant itself, it's just the plant is the doorway that allows you to meet with these entities. DMT is a fantastic experience. It can also be a very horrifying experience, but that will be coming up in later parts. What's more important now is to look at these plants. In Colombia, Bogota, other area, Ecuador, those sorts of things, they use the Diploteris cabarana species, which has the MAOIs in it, and they'll mix that with Psychotria viridis. In Australia, the Aboriginal Australians didn't have those kinds of exactly those kinds of plants, but they used a mimosa species or acacia species. They mixed the ash of the leaf or the bark as well in with a gum resin, and then they chewed it. The women would chew it and then give it to the men, and it would be well chewed in. They'd pass it around that way. So they chewed what's called patchouli. Again, it's from the mimosa. The mimosa species has high quantities of DMT in it. I'll show you a Psychotria viridis plant in the next episode. It's a small fern. It should be well cared for. It's reasonably slow growing. It's a Amazonian style fern, so keep it in an area that is representative of kind of rainforesty areas. It doesn't need direct sunlight. You can also eat the fruits of the Psychotria viridis as well, and it's been said that they give a light feeling. And can induce certain type of small levels of dream, I guess. That's the best way to put it. Now, again, Peru, Brazil, there are different cultures that use the plant in different ways. It's been said that one of the most powerful brews that are made is in the Barraquina tradition, which is Brazilian and based on an African slave came over into South America, and through the various history ended up creating this tradition and uses an Auahuasca brew as part of their tradition. They call it the Barraquina, and it's based on a bit of Catholicism as well as traditional ideas of magic and so forth. Very interesting stuff. There's the Vegetales, which is in the upper Peru, so Colombian regions as well. These guys are very specific with their use of the plants, but they also are a little bit more modern, and they adapt things in a different way. But I'll talk about those a little bit more. The plants, as I've discussed, the main ingredients are DMT and the MAOIs. when mixed with those, they also add in other specific plants. They can put in the Nicotiana rustica, which I've discussed before. It's a sacred tobacco. They mix that in with it. They mix in the datura. They may also smoke datura as well. So they mix 1 or 2 flowers in. You can find these on the web. So basically, a good brew of ayahuasca can contain the MAOIs of the Banisterium caapi, the DMT of the Psychotria viridis, the alkaloids of the Nicotiana rustica, and the belladonna, or the datura. Again, datura is smoked, but it's also can be put into the brew. So, different shamans use different techniques, different recipes to produce their ayahuasca. The main traditional healing properties of ayahuasca, and I can testify to some of these as well, are removing negative energies from the body, healing illnesses. They allow seeing, or psychic, if you want to put it that way, psychic seeing. It's a very interesting plant. It has a lot of healing techniques. The shaman is said to basically go up and down the ladder as they use the term, which they go to heaven, they can go to the underworld, they work with their spirits and entities to get resolution for illnesses and so forth. I can testify myself that I had a bit of a chest infection there for about 2 years. That just wouldn't go away. It was an irritant kind of thing. It was rather strange. After using ayahuasca, even up to the first time I started noticing a difference. I used it a few more times, and it's completely healed that part of my body. The other thing that ayahuasca is very interesting for is its ability to reconfigure the human energy structure. You will notice that after the use of ayahuasca, you'll never really be the same. It seems to create an alignment, a more natural alignment within the body, within the energy structure, and within the mind as well. It creates a balance and a peaceful state of being, a very contentious state of being. So I find myself a lot more content, not prone to outbursts and aggressions, and any the little things that you may have problems with yourself as far as your personality and moods. It helps to stabilize those things. So there's a cover of ayahuasca, its effects, its power, its healing properties, its alkaloids, and I guess we'll go on to part 3. Cheers.